So pre-context about this one is that it was 3 weeks after my last entry, and I was feeling pretty bad for myself for not staying consistent with the entries, and for being lazy, and not following through on my New Year's resolutions, which was to write much more often. This was January 25th, about 3 weeks after my last entry, and I go into some of the things that I felt like were happening to me in accordance to what it was that I was, wanting or expecting to happen, the goals that I had set. So I tried to relate some of the things that had happened in that month to my goals. And I was also, pretty mad at myself for having gave up for so long. January 25th, so I don't even have a title for this one. I just started writing. I took off a few weeks from finishing this, and I couldn't be gladder I did. Even though laziness played a big part, I felt like I was trying to rush it and figure it all out. But the way the all works is in mysterious ways. This is because, as of today, nothing is seeming like it's going to happen the way I planned it, but it is manifesting itself. Into reality by ways of the mental universe acting in accordance with its true self, natural law. By means of my thoughts, opportunities, and newfound joy and excitement. By way of my thoughts, opportunities, and newfound joy and excitement have entered into my life. Just to reflect on just those few sentences, I felt like I wasn't that upset. I don't think that I took so long, because by this time, nothing that I had set in my prosperity plan or just like none of that shit happened. It was like, things were going completely different, it was seemingly like, it was seemingly like I was on the up and up, like as if things were happening, some good business opportunities that presented themselves. I thought that this was, my answer. So yeah, and I also for that whole month, I think I was just starting to feel confident because I started thinking more positively. So by the end of the month, I'm like, just to repeat that sentence, by means of my thoughts, opportunities and newfound joy. By way of my thoughts, opportunities and newfound joy and excitement have entered my life. I didn't have that before. My thoughts are truly shaping my reality, as crazy as that might seem, or as crazy as that might sound to the one who has not yet to receive this divine knowledge. Now, I'm not saying that the opportunities have blossomed yet, or that I am swinging back and forth on the pendulum of or that I'm not swinging back and forth on the pendulum of up and down due to the laws of the universe. But I am growing ever more confident day by day. So I'm saying, I'm not sitting here saying that I didn't even say, I guess opportunities at this point didn't even present themselves, which they didn't. And I was also admitting to not being, what's the word when you're like protected, not being, outside of the fact that there's still ups and downs. I still was having ups and downs. And I was still swinging back and forth on the pendulum, which in reference to the Kybalion is the polarity spectrum, everything has its dual opposite. So, and then in between those opposites, there's the law of rhythm. And so it's like always an ebb and flow between, these two polar opposites, which sometimes are the reason that we have good days and bad days. It's just the rhythmic nature of things. So, I realize that now. The bad days, it was like, all right, let's just try to control it and understand that this is a part of it. As I sit here right now, writing this, I am broke as not a joke, because it wasn't funny. And I'm having a hard time even paying my bills right now. But on the other side, I'm working on the NYCHA bid and feeling super great about it. I just brought the bid package for Birchwood Stadium, Birchwood Stadium bid, which I really want to bid on, and I'm going to try my hardest to do. Reason is, this NYCHA bid takes precedent over all others right now, since it's probably going to be $1 million. So I'm putting all my eggs into that basket, and if I have any eggs left over, I'm putting them into Birchwood. So if that's not reason enough to get excited, let me state some other great things that have been happening in my life lately. Neither one of those bids happened. I definitely put all my eggs into them. I don't know if that, what to tell someone about that, whether it's, fuck it, man. That was my process. You should be going all in with shit, but I spent so much time and money on that shit and it didn't work. But at least it made me feel good in the moment. It gave me some optimism. I thought I was going to win that NYCHA bid, that $1 million bid, because they needed minority businesses. So yeah, on the first day of the new abstract campaign, I got 4 fresh new leads. That's 1/6 of what I got from the past 6 months. Now, granted, the margins aren't crazy, but I'm positioning myself to foster good relationships with companies all throughout the country. So when I introduce my solo lighting, I will have a wide list of people to target. Also, if I can foster good relationships, I can have a wide network of companies to subcontract work to throughout the country when I get into federal government bids through my hub in 8A. Oh yeah, so I had started contracting with this outsourced sales company, and they had got me some bids. So, and when I say I got in one, what did I say? Which was a great thing, you know. And that I got 1/6 of what I got from the past 6 months. So I got 4 leads. The first day, 4. So 4. So I guess I got 24 leads in the past 6 months, and then I got 4 that month. I don't remember, but it was like an optimistic thing. I was happy about it. Something to look, you know, it was something to give me a sense of hope. 2, I finally am living in accordance with my newfound belief system, and it's making me realize that what I was trying to ignore before, and that is that Elsa is the girl for me. I finally have put aside my ego and I began to recognize what I fundamentally knew all along, and that is that Elsa makes me a better man. She is the yin to my yang, but because I was so caught up in this material realm and this lower level of consciousness, I denied it to myself adamantly in search of worldly satisfaction, of which I now understand does not, cannot, and will not ever truly be fulfilling. Only by recognizing the all for what it really is, and subsequently giving yourself to it, will you ever see past this earthly plane. Until you find spirituality, you can never truly be happy, and will live a life of searching for happiness in all the wrong places like I was. And all I was doing was messing this girl's life up. But I am just so thankful that the all kept her around long enough for me to finally wake up. He must really love me. He does really love me. So to sum this up, I finally have accepted my true inner feelings, and that is that I want to be with Elsa. I love her, and that's it. So I had a real, up and down relationship with my ex-girlfriend. But, in these moments, in these times, she played a really big, a big role in my life. We had gotten together we were about 24, and we had 23 or something, and she had wrote out the whole start of my company with me. So, we had went through a lot of shit together, and although we used to fight because we didn't get along much, the maturity in me had acknowledged and knew that although we were crazy, we needed each other. She had helped me, because before her, I was a dog, and when you're a dog, it's hard to stay focused like that. So she had kept me focused, and although we're not together now, nor do I, was she the person that I wanted or should have been with at that moment. Getting out of my ego was, that's something I feel like for young men sometimes, just to don't listen to society that much all the time. So if you feel it in your heart, because no one knows your situation like you do. She was living in a warehouse with me. She was grinding with me. She went through a lot of shit. People would have told us we shouldn't have been together, but again, don't listen to people. Do what you feel. People are not objects. People are people. And we as young guys tend to treat women sometimes as objects, as if they're just, don't do that. Even if you get your heart broken eventually, still, be open like that. Be vulnerable, That's some real man shit, honestly. All right, so that's it. Now to just look at the notes really quick. Sure. All right. So this is Spirit. This response. The significance in your first paragraph is pretty profound. You were correct when you said that you were glad that you stopped writing for a few weeks because you felt like you were trying to push or rush things. You were correct. Although you thought you were being lazy, you were actually letting us work on your behalf. The way that this thing works is that you set an intention, a plan of action, and measurable goals that you can use as milestones to track how close you are to getting to your intention. After that, you let the universe go to work for you. It's similar to cooking. Once you season the food, put it in a pot so that I can cook, or so that it can cook. You're supposed to leave it there so it can cook, not continue to mix it and season it over and over. You must let the heat energy do its part. Furthermore, although incorrect, you did a great job in seeing the opportunities that come into your life at that time as direct answers or responses from the universe regarding the intention that you set. That optimism kept you in the proper state of mind. Everything that happened to you is everything that happened to you, you've seen as a blessing in one way, shape, or form, which is the way you should see everything that happens to you. Now, just to go back on each one, really, like this paragraph right here, this is pretty. I think this is pretty correct. Now, in the beginning of the entry, I was like pretty hard on myself, and so I took off a few weeks from finishing this, and I couldn't be gladder. Even though laziness played a big part, I felt like I felt bad about myself. I felt bad when writing that. But what I was saying here was that when you do set intentions and they're that profound, you have to let them. So you have to let them cook. You have to let them. So, you know what I'm saying? If I would have continued writing every day, I feel like maybe, in that time frame, I would have written different things. I would have gone off course. I had set an intention, and 3 weeks later was the first time I think I even checked in on it. But when it comes to setting these intentions and stuff, you have to set them and let them simmer. Actually, I have a fucking story about right now. Today's October 6th, like 16th or something like that, 17th, and I had set some goals for the for the new moon on October 6th. They already happened. So now it's starting to happen in real time, actually. But just in general, the lesson behind what this is right here is, look, this is the analogy. It says, this is what Spirit said. It's similar to cooking. Once you season the food and put it in a pot so that it can cook, you're supposed to leave it there so that it can cook, not continue to mix it and season it over and over. You must let the heat do its part. So when you cook, right, you put the shit in the pot, you season it, you mix it, and then you let it simmer. You let it marinate, you let it cultivate, and you let the energy do its part, the heat. And it's the same thing with the universe. Once you put an intention out there, you mix it, you season it, you plan it, you action plan, you goal set, you put a vision together. That's like a pot of some, gumbo, some good ass New Orleans gumbo. Now you let that shit cook, and let the universe put the situations in place that are gonna cultivate this situation, this right here. Now, it's just, actually, I'm gonna do it. Fuck that, I'm gonna do it right now. You know what? How crazy is this? Okay. Crazy. New moon, October 6th. 1. I easily attract the right partnerships that will be needed to move new air quality forward. Those partnerships will come in the form of contractors and political connections. I'm not even gonna go. I attract the right people. I attract the right people that will have the skills needed to help new air quality provide our consulting. 1,000+ schools, whatever, right? And it didn't happen as of yet, but this weekend I had found the 2 partners that I'm gonna have for my company, Marshall Wilkinson and Savan Bowman, Secret Energy. And that just happened. And these are the 2 baddest motherfuckers I've ever even associated myself with. And the universe gave it to me, so that's how it works. You have to put it out there and just let it come back to you. All right. Furthermore, although incorrect, you did a great job in seeking opportunities. You did a great job in seeing the opportunities that came into your life at that time as directed. Answers or responses from the universe regarding the intention that you set. That optimism kept you in the proper state of mind. Everything that happened to you, you've seen as a blessing in one way, shape, or form, which is a great way that you should see everything that happens to you. So at that time, neither one of those NYCHA bids, or neither one of those bid opportunities really, none of them actually worked. We didn't win any of them. They were not prosperous. I didn't win the $1 million, and ultimately they weren't a part of the reason that I got into where I am. But at that point, I had seen it as that, even though, anything that came into my life, I seen as, I tried to associate it with, all right, is this going to help me get to my goal and stuff? So that's a good way to think. You have to see everything as a blessing, because that's it. Just always put that vibration out there. Although neither one of the 2 bids that you spoke of ever panned out, it's good you believe in them. Believe in what you do. Believe that the answers will come, and they will. Although ultimately Elsa was not the person you were meant to be with, we want to acknowledge your maturity and saying what you said about her. She obviously was a big part of this entire process, and it's good that you stepped outside of your ego and admitted that you had feelings and loved her. You sent out good vibrations with this one. So, to close this one out, one thing that I realized about this is don't be so hard on yourself. I've always been hard on myself with, like, if I take a long time to, if I, like, say I'm gonna stay committed to something and then I fall off, and then, I recently have tended to, like, let that fall off just last longer. Just when you realize you fell off and you know you have to get back, just do it. There's no one's perfect, This journal entry is a lot of sporadic periods I don't write shit, So, just appreciate what you do and don't worry about what you don't do. Don't be so hard on yourself and think that you have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect, it's about trying. I feel like the thought that just came to my head is that, like, when you have a kid and they're trying their best, and as a grown adult that the kid is not capable of doing this shit, but they keep trying, and you know that you can do it for them and you can make it very easy, but you don't want to do it for the kid yet. You want them to get the lesson. I feel like that's what the universe does with us. That, as long as we keep trying, we have someone in our favor that will help us when the time, when they see that, all right, this is not getting anywhere, and it's time for us to help this person, or this kid. I feel like that's what happens with the universe, because we would never let a kid fail. If the kid was trying to, do something with their toy car in the backyard or some shit, and they couldn't push it, eventually we would help them. We would do something weird that, like, helped the kid think that they could push it. We would, like, go on top and push it and make them think that they were doing it. That's how the universe works with us. It's like, but we have to keep trying, though. It wants to see us try. We can't give up. If the kid gives up, you're not going to do it for them, because you're going to try to tell the kid not to give up, try to teach them a lesson of, like, no, you have to continue to try. So that's one of the bigger things that I got in here. Most of the rest of the stuff was just, shit that I was going through. But the lesson, I feel like, is just the period between January 3rd and January 25th. I didn't write, and I wasn't too hard on myself. I just started again. All right?